This is FilmWise from Black Belt Dragon. So, one of George Romero's masterpieces, Night of the Living Dead. Now, this is a very old movie from the 60s, and obviously it's not going to have the most impressive acting, but I do have to say it's definitely one of the scariest films I've ever seen. Even for being so old, it's still freaking scary. I mean, there were just so many images in that film that I now are stuck in my head. I mean, take for example the special effects and the suspense that it brings you. Here's a little bit of a scene that kind of gets you in that mood.
Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
John. Oh! No! No! Johnny! Help
Oh boy, I was kind of freaked out myself. So, let me begin with the plot. Now, the plot of the movie is that the film takes place in a surrounding area with a graveyard where a brother and sister are going to go visit one of their dead relatives. While being there, they find out that the dead is rising and that one of them ends up dead. Well, the brother, exactly. The brother ends up dead, and the sister is now running away while dealing with some of those cliches that you find in horror movies. The trip scene, and, just being freaked out, and, the screamer. But, while she enters the house, she finds that it is abandoned. Now, not only that, she finds a very disturbing and shocking scene. And let me tell you, it's really scary. But what the movie does is that it keeps you in that suspense. While being there, she finds other people that are stuck in the house, and they now have to work together to try to make sure not to get captured by the zombie apocalypse, because now zombies are starting coming, more and more of them start coming and trying to enter the house, and it's really freaky. So they better watch out, because there's going to be a lot of problems. And the movie keeps going and going in suspense, and it keeps you in that mood where, are they going to make it out alive? Is everything going to be okay? Okay, now getting to the good aspects of the film. Now, what I like about the film is how it feels real in the situation, not in the point of the zombies, but the situation of what would you do if there was a zombie apocalypse. And these characters in the movie really do know how to, deal with the situation. Some of them just stay downstairs in the basement hiding from them, while others bravely, just try to search for food and other resources like weapons to try to stop the zombies. From what we understand, the zombies can only be stopped if a bullet is shot through its head, or if you do anything to kill it. The brain is the main point of how to kill the zombies, and it's done pretty well. The effects, I can give you that one. Now, the effects in the movie are awesome. Even though there's not much of it there still is a lot of good special effects with the gore. Now, the gore in the movie, it's kind of used to its advantage, because it's creepy to find that even for back then they use these kind of special effects. Usually the blood and you know, all those, you know, nasty kind of, you know, like it looks like cow meat or something, that, or any kind of brain or any bones, like, you know, usually it's just CG in movies nowadays, but in this movie it's really, you know, it's real. They actually used real cow guts to make it look like they're actually eating the flesh of humans, and it's pretty disgusting. That's what keeps the suspense going throughout the movie, and it works really well. And what I do find is that I find the characters good. I find them memorable. I can't really recall all of their names because there's too many to count, but I can tell you that it's very, you stick to these characters you stick to these characters till the end, and you really feel that they're freaking out over this big problem. Okay, now for the bad aspects of this film and little nitpicks. What I don't like about the movie is that it's kind of in a slow pace. Like, the slow pace is fine, but, you know, it's kind of really slow. You know, sometimes when you're dealing with kind of scary movies, you kind of want to deal with some points where you do want to keep the suspense going, but you don't want it to drag it. Like, this movie can drag, you know, real slowly, and you're just waiting for something to happen, and it doesn't until probably like 10 to 20 minutes later, and it takes a while. But it does keep you invested in what these characters are feeling, and they're doing their best to work together. There's like one nitpick I have. The one nitpick I have is that the editing in the movie is not that impressive. There are some shots in the film that are not shot well. Also, there's supposed to be, there's this scene in the movie where after they get in the car, like two people were trying to get into a car and try to get away from the zombies by getting away from the car, but accidentally one of them sets it on fire and the car explodes with them. Literally, check out this scene and tell me if you don't see the problem here. Pretty noticeable, right? It's just because when you're, I mean, yeah, I know this was back then, so obviously it wasn't that professional, but I still felt that they could have maybe done it better, but that's, you know, just me. Okay, my rating for this movie, even though it's not the scariest movie I've ever seen, I've actually seen scarier films, I have to give this a solid B. A solid B for this movie, because it is entertaining even though it drags a little bit. It has good special effects, and you just feel so invested with these characters, and it's definitely worth a watch. Okay, this has been Black Belt Dragon on FilmWise. See you on my next review.